The boys here, Ashen especially was the one riding that one out. But yes, last game of the day, and then tomorrow we're going to 4 best of 1s and 4 best of 3s to start eliminating teams and promoting them and all the other goodness that comes with it. But now that we get a real classic NA showdown, if Anne was very correct, we have not seen this iteration of Soniqs play on Bank. In fact, the last time they played it as a team was 200 days ago, and that was when 2 different players were on this team. So a lot to change here, a lot to observe and enjoy, I guess, whereas for SSG they played it about a month ago against MAT over in the NAL. So a little bit to look at on that side of things. Soniqs, though, they're the ones who come in with the, I guess, the surprise factor where they can strike first against SSG.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, these two played each other recently, of course, in the NAL. You know, very, very familiar with each other, but it was SSG who came out on top. 8-6, a little bit of overtime. It was on Chalet. So we'll see whether, you know, maybe we get a few extra rounds to decide this one today, or maybe somebody can walk away with it in regulation this time. Bans coming on through, Hibana, Monty, Valkyrie. No major surprises as Azami rounds things out. Valkyrie, a much more popular ban here on Bank. And there's a lot of really good Valk cams on Bank. And I speak as a...
Here we go, already. Straight in the chat, silly old Troy, already.
You know, we love a bit of Valk, and there's so many places in main lobby, for example, where you can just hide away those Valk cams. You spend your entire round trying to chase them down and find them. It's no surprise that we see Valk's ban rate being particularly higher here on Bank. So let's get into things any second. We're going to have Soniqs kicking things off on the defense. Both teams, of course, if you're joining us a little bit later, you can be forgiven. We've had a very full day of Siege today. If you're wondering where we're standing, we're currently in the second round of our Swiss matches, and the record for both of these two, Soniqs and SSG, is 0-1. They both lost their first matchups today, so they now face off against each other.
They go the same way as BDS as well. If you win this game, you're at 1-1. You still play best of 1s tomorrow. The loser, though, at 0-2 will have to play, assuming they're going to qualify, of course, and not get locked out along the way. They have to play 3 best of 3s over the next couple of days to still be in with a fighting chance. It does not sound like a fun time prepping full best of 3s for 2 or 3 days in a row. But that's the hand that's been dealt, and that's what they'll have to do. Of course, you can avoid that fate by winning in this game, so let's see how it plays out. Ambi, already out there. When he was talking about his name, by the way, during the break, I was like, Ambi, I'm sure it means like all, right? In this case, he's everywhere. He's vigil. He's being a little troublemaker out by front door, waiting for someone to come marching into ATMs, and unsuspectingly just walk past him. Do they know that he's there? This drone here has at least, yep, they know he's there. 100% know he's there. Oh, good night.
I think they might know he's there, Des.
I think. Look, I love how Ashen hadn't even got off the rappel and he's already in chat with a question mark.
Ambi's not there anymore, as Ashen's going to take him down. Nice, easy entry to kick things off for SSG. And it's certainly something Soniqs are going to have to be a little bit more careful about. I speak about Vigil repeatedly. You know, maybe anybody who's not fully familiar with all the Operator's Vigil's ability is that he can take his visual signature off cams, off drones for a period of time. But that's all he brings to the team. He's not bringing anything like Jaeger's ADSs, for example, that are helping any throwables coming into sight. He's not bringing those Goyo canisters that are going to delay the push coming into sight. His contribution to the team has to be wasting time, has to be finding kills, and unfortunately this time, Ambi, he's been unable to deliver either.
Very selfish operator, which is why I like playing him. I think he's actually my most played defender, you know.
You don't have the aim for the Boss G.
Oh, I don't play Boss G. No way, no way. I'm a hater. I'm the K1A kind of guy. I love the K. The gun just sounds so good, and it's purely why I play it, to be honest with you. It also doesn't really kick up much, but very fun gun. That's all I'll say.
Good progress so far from SSG. After getting Ambi taken down, they've got themselves into the map, got nice control over mid-floor. Everybody from the Soniqs is back down on site. Hatches being opened and plenty of time still to work with. Next job for SSG really is decide exactly where you're going to be putting it down. Look at this push into Garage, really getting aggressive to try and take Ashen down. He finds his man though, gets a second in the round. J9 elsewhere, 4 versus 2. SSG are looking pretty good for this one with 45 seconds left to go.
Is that a lineup he's got set up here that just goes perfectly through? I love it if so. Oh, that's beautiful.
Perfection. What an arm.
Beautiful.
What an arm.
Man's been working out. Very impressive. 30 seconds on the clock though, and that is not a whole lot of time against the onslaught of SSG, who have still got 4 players alive here. Not really been around for Soniqs, where they've kind of had to sit and wait for the bruising to come to them from SSG. Waiting for this plant to go down, but there's still a smoke in back pocket here. Now, I've seen it go quite deep. It might just miss faults here unless they've really practiced it, and practice it they have. It lands perfectly. They're going to have to go in for the kills here. There is one left standing, and it is Canadian. Will he get in a buff here and get the spray down if he gets this? This could be real messy for the other side, but by the looks of it, Tim, they should be able to find their man. They find him through the hatch. Down he goes, and the first round goes the way of SSG.
What's a fucking game?
Okay. We did ask how long it might take, and apparently the first round was enough.
So we expect nothing less. So SSG, they played that really well, but I want to give Canadian a little bit of a hand there as well. You know, that was really nice smoke play from him in a difficult situation, held them at bay, beautiful lineup, and kind of almost, you know, had an opportunity to maybe, it's one of those rounds where you see a planter just, you know, take a couple of bullets down, boom, 4 seconds go by, end of round is done, and all of a sudden you've got a defender who's clutched up. So it was a good effort from Canadian, but SSG right from the off, to be honest, they found Ambi, they dealt with him quickly. Ashen was cool under pressure, being pushed by 3 in garage. It was good stuff from SSG.
He's still talking. I tell you what, the problem is, if I'm not good enough to be a pro player, but if I was, I could not play against Ashen. He would be right in my head. I'm already getting wound up reading him in all chat now. Like, I love it, because I love it when the shit talk starts, but by the same token, I would just hate to lose a round and just know that he's there like a friggin', I don't even call him, just in your ear, just talking shit, and you're like, go away. God.
Yeah, I mean, you're rattled already, Des.
It takes a certain kind of person to tolerate that for too long. I'll say that.
You're rattled already. Right, so we're going to go up to the top floor this time. Soniqs moving on. They're not going to double down on the basement. You know, of course, Soniqs coming in here. A lot of people were favouring him, you know, really fancying him for the tournament. And now's the time that they need to be making a statement here, I think. They certainly don't want to be ending the first day 0 and 2. Nobody does, you know, realistically. But it's been a rough start for NA as a whole today. And for one of these two, it's going to get worse. So we see drones just being taken out inside of sight. We do have the Scorpos on site. Yeah, I was going to say, where's that second shield? But it is pretty much up on the top floor on site as well. So that's just going to be used as a cam at this point. In comes the fire arrow, but there's not going to be anything from SSG to follow up on that. I think they were maybe hoping to get a little bit of damage onto Scorpos there, but that won't be the case.
They've kept it really narrow in terms of their scope of attacking this site. Like, pretty much everyone's hanging around these windows so far. I think you got maybe one up on the roof as well. So I'd expect to see a drop coming in at some point from a different part to cause a bit of a backstab, give them another angle to play around. For now, they're so focused on these castle barricades, for example, and starting to get any kind of, I guess, visibility in towards site to start putting pressure on, that everyone has been gathered around these windows. In fact, there's 4 players here right now, so I'm starting to think that's half the round gone. And congratulations, you've destroyed a castle barricade.
In go the bees. That would usually signal a little bit of further movement from the attackers. Thank you, Des. Just a little behind the scenes. Des was just simulating a bee buzzing around my head with his fingers there. Ambi's going to take down Forest for the open Avengers there. Standing tall to take down Canadian, but Soniqs are looking pretty good. They are trading out 1 for 1 here. They can win this if they continue, but J90 flips the trend with a double, taking down Surf and Grixter, and all of a sudden it is up to Rexton this time in a 1v3. There's phone calls going on. Everything is there to try and make this as difficult as possible. 57 seconds left to go, but SSG are not putting a plant down yet, Des.
All right, he's got the down, which now feels like a little bit of a wasted opportunity because they can still lose this round with the way things are playing out. If he goes fast here, he might be able to get... no, not quite. A little bit behind, but finds one. I tell you what, is Ashen staying on the ground, hoping to get the same angle again? I think he is, you know. Plant's going down. As soon as he steps up here, he's in trouble. I don't think he'll expect to see him in the same spot again. Gets the cross forward here as well. Now back up on his feet as well. This time around, at least Diffuser will get stuck. But Rexton with every opportunity to win this one out.
Just needs to have a little bit of patience, maybe see if he can catch any movement, but it's been too long realistically. SSG have got themselves into post-plant positions. They know exactly where this push is going to be coming from. Rexton, a lot of work to do. It's going to take 2 kills. Utility being played. Just guesses right that Ashen's going to be sat right in the middle of that smoke. Now then, where have we seen this before? There's a Scorpos going for a defuse. This is
no second shell, though.
I was going to say no second shell this time. We did see it back in Brazil where it was a really smart play. I can't remember who it was now. You might remember, Des, but basically positioned himself in front of the diffuser, switched out to his second shell, so effectively put a deployable shield in front of himself, then ran in behind and tried to disable the diffuser. It was a hell of an attempt, but not possible this time for Rexon, unfortunately, as his shell had been destroyed. So 2-0 to SSG. It was actually a really nice finish from SSG there. They didn't panic. They 1v3. It's easy sometimes, I think, to, you know, try and rush in, try and get that kill, be over-aggressive. They had one down. They collected Ashen. They thought about where and when the diffuser's going to go down. They didn't try to force it. It was a nice finish from them, and it made it very difficult for Soniqs. So 2-0 and a good start for SSG.
I think even Forrest is getting gassed up now. He's been in the all chat as well, talking a bit of smack, saying full diapers, you're crapping yourselves. So the whole team's starting to be emboldened. Each round they win, maybe there'll be someone else stepping in next time. Benja at some point, I'm sure, would say something. And I tell you what, though, he's quite sassy. He's quiet, Benja is, but he can get sassy. Every now and then, I've seen him just pipe up and say something more in a conversation than so much on like a stream or something. But give him his time. He's a little bit of an assassin on Twitter as well, has his moments. We'll see how things build out. Still, a good start for SSG, up 2-0. Soniqs the ones that you want to see start building something here on the defensive side, just to give themselves a little bit of wiggle room when we see them moving over towards the attack.
Yeah, they're going to try another site once again. This time it's going to be open area. Soniqs just continuing that rotation on the defense of Bank. As you say, not a map that we are necessarily too familiar with for them, but have the Tubre as auto canister. It stops all kinds of things. You don't realise just how sort of broad the impact of those auto canisters can be. You're going to freeze out the drone for the time being and just prevent the intel being gathered forth.
Did he chipped onto the Fenrir there? Yeah, 10 HP gone. Unfortunately, not the head. Otherwise, freebie.
Still needing SSG to put a bit more pressure up onto this top floor. That's exactly what they're going to start doing here. Just open up that elevator wall. It's phantom pressure. It doesn't matter that they're going to move away from the rappel. It just means that the Soniqs need to be careful when moving around Ambi. He's going to get himself out of there. Maybe not too carefully. He's going to take a maybe educated guess that there's nobody sticking the rappel. So he's going to move himself away. But they're going to avoid, I would imagine, playing around that area too much if they can.
I thought it was the stream going nuts. I had to take my headset off for a second to hear what the hell was going on. The Aussies are over there. A reminder again, we do have two channels, twitch.tv/Rainbow6Bravo. If you want to see, it's DZ playing off against Elevate. That game is going on over there. They are playing on Cafe, I believe. This is where the real action's at, the NA showdown, as it were. I think for SSG, for the most part in this round, have been trying to fish to hope to catch someone on the side of Soniqs. Little do they know, literally right below them, there is the opportunity to get a bit of a freebie here. But if nothing else, I think it just shows that Soniqs so far have done well to persevere and not get caught out in little crazy positions here and find themselves down a couple of players. Now they've held on for long enough, it's going to be this full site execute from every player on the side of SSG. But you've got all 5 defenders still up and available to play as well. You've got any C4s to play behind. We've got a couple. In fact, we've got 3 to play behind here, Tim. So plenty of utility to work with, and those mirror windows if they're still standing. It's going to get rough.
Can hear the Candelas going in there. I don't know if SSG are making a push behind them. I don't think they quite are at the minute. They're just continuing to have this movement up on the top floor, try and get an early pick. Well, it won't be early, but try and get that first pick at least and create a little bit of space for themselves. But Soniqs have done a good job here of moving around, keeping themselves elusive and alive, and Canadian it is. He's going to pick up Ashen for the entry. 5 versus 4, 20 seconds left to go, and he gets himself into a tricky position to deal with inside of Electrical now, with only 10 seconds left to go. SSG might struggle here.
They spent so much time trying to hunt down these players on Soniqs that a single move by Canadians really put everything on the back foot a bit here. Drop number 1 comes in, diffuser is down. They'll just simply run out of time here, unfortunately, Tim. Soniqs finally on the board.
Yeah, Soniqs with a good setup up on the top floor. It was something SSG struggled to break down. Like I said, they just paid the price at the end there when running out of time. We'll see whether that first round is going to be a little bit of a catalyst for the Soniqs now, if they're able to maybe chain together a few more successful defenses in those sites that we would expect to see defensive teams picking up, particularly, you know, down in the basement. Not a lot of vertical pressure that can be gained, only the hatchers, no other verticals whatsoever down into that basement level for the attackers. So we would expect to see them hold on to this site at least once, realistically, if they try it twice. They were indeed slow.
They were indeed slow. I'll probably leave out the prior word, but they were slow.
They were slow.
Like I said, they were trying to catch these players that were out dancing around. We saw, of course, Kanto being opened up, the long angle down white hallway being exposed, and they hoped to catch someone out. They almost caught the Fenrir out. I think it was Surf who was the one that they managed to get a little tag onto, but didn't quite finish him off. And Canadian was being hunted down from above by the buck on one of the player. They couldn't collect him. If nothing else, he found a freebie onto top square. He gets caught there, and it's probably a little bit of a different conversation because they have the numbers advantage to then go and hit the site, but they did look slow. They didn't really look like they had an overall objective in mind outside of hope that we catch someone. They paid the price for it. But as said, it's still SSG in the lead after their first quarter. 3 more rounds of this, and we'll see how things fare on the other side. But for now, I think for Soniqs, it's a case of trying to build into this half. You can't really walk away with just the 2 defenses to your name once we get to the end of round 6.
I think that long angle down from elevators, it gives a good example, really, of SSG not committing to what they were doing. You know, it was, yeah, we'll open that angle, but then we're just going to disappear off it. And 10 seconds later, Ambi comes out of elevators. If you're on the rappel, he's dead. It's done, you know. And I think sometimes just commit to that use of utilities. Nothing wrong with phantom pressure, but sometimes, you know, you can gain a little bit more value from it. But how about this? That was not knock with the speed lines. They were left over from the drone.
Certainly not what she does.
No, quite the opposite, in fact. Not just moving through slowly there. Going to be aware, yes, the ping comes in, knows that there's somebody on Elliot, but they're just going to drop straight down. The prox alarm will give away the location of Ashen, though. However, nobody's home to hear it. Canadian taken down. Ashen with a nice entry, and then prevents the pressure coming through.
Almost gives himself a little bit of cover there with the Goyo and isolated to just one angle so he can challenge on towards the elevator. However, he really needs help from his teammates here. He's got in and found the one, got rid of the smoke, which is crucial. But as soon as his fire expires, he's probably a little bit of bother. He might find himself getting swung on and pushed. They've already got the elevator above him in this case. So he's in hot water. But while this is going on, he's causing a lot of distraction elsewhere to him, which means SSG, the rest of the team, can start marching on forward and giving him that support that he needs.
Yeah, and they're starting to use that space. Benja able to take down Rexon there as well. They know that it's like playing with a wasp in the room at the minute. They know that they've got the knock there in position, but what do they do about it? That is the question. J9O was waiting for that swing, but it's actually Ashen who beats him to the punch, takes down Ambi, and SSG find themselves 5v2 with another great attack onto the basement, and surely one that they win from here.
They've got a single C4 to play behind as well as the Yokais here. That's the one thing that I think SSG have got to be mindful of. They've got 45 seconds to play. Don't even get the down onto Benja there. That's this kicker, and now they find themselves getting shot in the back as well. Down to 1 man left standing, and I guess Soniqs did say, hey, you're really slow. I think SSG took it personally, Tim, because Ashen went in like a rocket. And now with this 1 man pin way at the back, they've got 30 seconds to get a plant down here if they even need it, Tim. They want to push and try and finish off this kill, I'd imagine, inside of Vault.
Just looking to make the challenge. Grixis does pick up a beauty through onto Ashen, but it's probably going to be meaningless at this point as the diffuser goes down. There's bees to him to try to play through to get himself out of Vault. Can't do so. Has to move through into Gold instead. Gets picked up by Forest, finding the last man, and that's another successful attack for SSG, and that time it was built on a cheeky little play coming out of Ashen, just moving with pace and purpose into elevator.
What? Yeah, say that again, Ashen?
Finished with Buddy, but I'm not sure how friendly it was.
A quick update on the score on the other game as well. Elevator currently up 4-1 over DZ on Cafe. Now you might think, okay, then on the defense it's fine. The bad news is they're on attack. 4-1 up on the attack on Cafe. Sounds pretty catastrophic. So for DZ, things are not starting well here at the major at all. Not the greatest result early for themselves against Falcons on border. God, he's so annoying. I love him, but my God, is he annoying.
You gotta love the personality. This is what brings it.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Off we go then. We're gonna head this time to Archives and Tellers. It's gonna be for Soniqs. So we see that top floor setup coming in. It doesn't, I was actually wondering, it doesn't surprise me to see this site whatsoever. I was wondering if we might see it in the last round, given that the one that they'd won was open area. you can do pretty much a similar setup here. They burnt a lot of time on the top floor. SSG didn't really have an answer to this setup. They never really disrupted them. They never really took too much ground, at least not until it was far too late. They were just far too slow in doing so. So I thought we might see Soniqs do this in the last round. So no surprise to see them go there. Now it's going to be again down to holding on to that top floor. The question, the real question for this round is how well do SSG adapt to what went wrong last time?
I love our chat to Deuce that apparently Ashen sounds like Yoda.
Okay.
I thought it was quite a reach.
I'll listen out for that.
Yeah, I'll have a think. I'll have a think. Maybe he whips out a quote and surprises us all after this round. I can hear the string going nuts again, by the way. I can only imagine things are not going much better for Dark Zero. But now, Lisa, it's again going to be this focus on towards the elevator wall. We see this so often. I mentioned it earlier on, but from that window, you open up that wall, you can see all the way down the white corridor, which makes it a little bit more restrictive for the defenders. It's not so easy to use the main stairs. It's not easy to rotate around the rooms down through that hallway instead, just in case there is someone that stays on the rappel. They might not stay there forever, but not going to be long enough. And over the top rope, down comes Ambi. Benja's gone. Straight back in towards site here and safe. A nice little opening kill with the Dokkaebi being taken offline, having used only one phone call.
Yeah, it's a great start. It's not ideal, though, that Canadians taken so much damage on the Legion. Of course, they're going to want to keep him as late into the round as they can, try and maximise that utility that he's got available. And at the minute, he's on 5 health, and he's going to have to play this super safe if he wants to keep himself alive. Ashen just going to be looking down there. Potentially a zap from a zero cam would take Canadian out. It would be enough. It'll do that 5 damage that he's got left. However, J90 also goes by the wayside. And like I said, maybe it's the mid-floor sites for Soniqs that they need to be playing here on Bank.
Yeah, looking like they're in pretty good success here so far. I think SSG just looks a little bit lost almost, like not 100% sure on what the main focus should be. They go through the motions of this map, like opening up the elevator wall. As I mentioned, it gives you that long-range control. Eventually you do get this top floor, but they've already done the damage, Tim. Like, you've taken 2 minutes to get this control. You've lost 2 players on the process. Soniqs have played as good a roam here as you can really ask for.
These zero cams just doing some real work at the minute as well, just gathering intel of what's going on inside a site. But whether it's going to be enough or not is another question. SSG just in a position to try and open things up a little bit, maybe gain a little bit of access on into site if they can pick up a couple of kills here and there. That's basically Soniqs' main, goal at the minute for the next 10 seconds or so is don't lose anybody. You've got a great advantage, as I say, that Ashen manages to take down 1 on to serve. 4 versus 3. Soniqs still have a good advantage and plenty of time. SSG have been too slow again about attacking these mid-floor sites. The final kills come in. Much better from Soniqs on the defense, burning that time.
Want to go the Echo Smokes the other choice? I want to go.
I think we go with that.
Chill and composed overall, straight into the strategy for next round. Love to see it. It's SSG to look 3-2. However, Soniqs are mounting that stage where they can get towards this 3-3-1/2, which again, given its bank, I don't feel you're too beat. You won't feel too beat up about that. If Finals going down 4-2, though, I think it's a different conversation. You start to then worry about Soniqs' ability to fight their way back into this game.
I was just going to suggest potentially for a site choice, do they go back to that top floor? Do they go back to that basement? Or do they in fact look back to open area, which is now available to them? They've already won it once. And like you say, heading towards a 3-3, it's not really then the worst outcome. It's been a tough half for Soniqs. I don't think, we can say anything else about it, particularly top and bottom floor. They've been beaten up a bit, but when they've been on those mid floors, they've just looked like a bit of a different beast. They've been able to burn so much time from SSG and make it very, very difficult for them to actually find any space to execute onto site in the round. So going back to open area, I think is definitely the play. Rinse and repeat, do the same thing again. It's no coincidence that 2 rounds in a row now on that take, SSG have struggled to get anywhere near site in enough time. So Soniqs just keep doing what's working.
That's it. I think, though, given how the game starts, when SSG actually play with a little bit more intent and purpose, when they move with a bit more pace, they've looked really good. They've got themselves into uncomfortable positions. It's made life hard for Soniqs. Whereas when Soniqs are given a bit of a slower round, that's when they seem to be at their very, very best. And J90 at least is moving pretty quickly here up towards square. Nothing else, just hoping to find someone downstairs. Obviously not quite to be the case. And this barricaded off door will, of course, give a lot of indication over towards the other side of Soniqs that, hey, someone is now knocking the door on square. So for those that are upstairs, you can start looking to rotate over and cause a little bit of bother. I imagine for the most part, it's about holding on to this top floor, given you've got these castle barricades set up upstairs. No doubt a little bit more utility up there as well to support this hold.
Peak just coming on into open there from top blue, looking to get this wall open as well, and a bit more progress and certainly quicker progress from SSG being the real important point here. Benja just having a little stroll through Tellers as well, trying to get his way into a tricky position. Forest is going to take down Serve for the entry, 5 versus 4, and it looks like there could be potentially a bit of a change of fortune for SSG when it comes to attacking these mid-floor sites. They've got all the time in the world this time. They've got 2 kills as well. Nade goes out, forcing Ambi to move. Benja with another kill in the round. Rexon goes down, 4v2 now.
I was going to say, Benja and Nook feels very nostalgic to him. I'm thinking about slicing teams apart on this operator, and that's exactly what he's just done. Forced out the elevator player, killed 2 himself once walking in towards Tellers and Archives. Now Grix has dug in a little bit deeper here, has found Pulse down to a 2 versus 2, but Ambi has got 2 hit points to his name. Not that it matters, because Grixer is hitting the shots. Benja's got to find 4 kills now in this round if he wants to see his team up with that 4-2 split. He's probably asking the question, boys, how much more can I possibly do here? Done a lot of the hard yards for them, has got the right idea. One more out towards his right inside a square. Sees him first, but misses the shots. A bit of a stinger there, and Benja could well be in a spot to get the plant down here. This is what I thought he might try and go for. As long as they've got the support coming in here from drones, so then when the push comes on through, this could be great. Look towards your left, my son. Not quite to be done. Ambi gets the closing kill, and Soniqs even things up at 3-all.
Work these fucking rounds, let's go! Already across. Because literally you
help your fucking team, you're sorry as fuck! I got shit on, bro. I like hip fire quick stick. I gotta do that shit.
Energy, guys, let's fucking go!
Get your little ass up, boys!
No, I heard it.
I think it's fair to say that tensions are riding high.
The thing is, Ashen loves it. After a game, he's always smiling and laughing and joking. He loves it. Sat there, he's like, yeah, fair play. It's like I deserved it.
But yeah, 3-3 is actually... I think that's a really good outcome for Soniqs, to be fair. Given the way that both teams have played, I think SSG, you know, on the attacks that they've won, they've looked very good. But you got to give it to Soniqs there. You know, like I said, go to open area, you've already won it. Double down on it. They've done a great job there in that man deficit situation as well, let's not forget. Grix has done a fantastic job in behind the counter, cooking up a storm in the cafeteria and just smashing them one at a time there. It was brilliant stuff to bring it back to a winnable position. 2v3 becomes 2v1. Absolutely fantastic from the Soniqs.
I remember speaking to Canadian a long time ago, back when he was on DZ, actually. It wasn't a long time ago he was on DZ, but it was a long time ago we had this conversation. And for the longest time, Canadian was typical Canadian. Super loud, always giving a stick to the other side, really hyping his team up. And for a long time, he lost that and started becoming a much calmer kind of IGL. And I remember asking him once at an event, I was like, you know, where's the energy gone? Like, why are you calmer? And he said to me, well, the problem is when I do that is the team get really amped up and excited, but if I'm not like it, then they can come really low and come crashing down, and it really affects our gameplay. He's like, so my goal now is to try and always be in the middle, keep energy at a steady level throughout the game, so you won't see me going too nuts. Fair to say, I think he's starting to see that whole belief system go out the window, as even he's now saying, let's get the energy up, let's get amped up, because at the end of the day, that's what teams ride on. They ride on the banter, they ride on the ego that comes off the back of it, and you're seeing it starting to build on the Sonic side. They're rising in confidence in gameplay as well.
That's it, you know, like you say, it's the ego, it's the confidence that starts finding you those kills. Ambi, he picks up the last kill of the last round and the first kill of this one, taking down Benja. That's your mute gone as well, you know, potentially a Nitro that's gone along with him. One still in the hands of the Tubra. I think that Benja might have actually already used that Nitro, maybe in a little bit of an attempt to prevent the push coming through, but it wasn't successful. Zoto canister goes out, freezes the Nitro, but having gone for the shot, Canadian, you can't drop your shield to take it down. He's going to lose his life.
And Ambi's on for a 3. Why not make it 5 at this point? He keeps on going. The lad's found a 4K and there's one left standing. It's Ashton! And Ambi's found the ace!
Hey, so good!
Let's
go!
Here it comes.
Yo, good shit? But be careful with the reset. Was that live? Because was that live on that Goya, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
That's on.
Yeah, he's on the cam. Okay.
No, I literally shot him.
No, I was just on cam, so I just want to make sure he didn't fucking leave, and then like we fucking flood the site or some shit.
You're too fucking good for them, Ambi.
I just want to make sure we're hearing me and that like you saw me.
Okay.
Hold up. Oh.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Fantastic round from Ambit. Fantastic
unreal.
round from the Soniqs. You know, what a time to drop an ace in. You've just gone 3-3, and let's be honest, that first half was hard fought for Soniqs. Those rounds didn't come easy. They had to really dig deep to get them won. So Ambi then comes in on the attack, says, you know what, the momentum's shifted, things have changed. Boom! Arrives with an ace. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And it was just, it looked so easy for him, Des. It looked so easy.
When you see like players get into flow like that, where they're just going and taking 1v1 after 1v1, not losing any HP along the way, it's so magical to see. I say that, and he's losing HP along the way, but who cares? He's killed 5 people there. We can have a conversation if you want about the Canadians shooting out the C4. It's a perfect bit of bait, but I think we can move past that. Definitely one of those that you look at and think, maybe there's a lesson there, Troy, that we'll take forward from here on out.
It's a tricky one because it's in the Tuberhouse, so it's not going to explode immediately. But it's like you can't ignore it either. You know, these things don't last forever, and you really can't ignore it. So.
Tim, can you hear that, by the way?
What am I listening for, Des?
It's just a really weird silence. It's like Ashen's gone quiet.
Imagine.
He has been shut up these last few rounds.
Funny how an ace will do that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, over the last 5 rounds, Soniqs have taken 4 of those rounds, so it's hard to be the noisy one when your team are really starting to fall behind here. Soniqs are now in the lead, and that's got to start to feel pretty bad when your team had such a good start to the game.
Lots of droning going on from Soniqs, and at this point, you know, through the first few rounds, first 3 or 4, you're thinking SSG are looking pretty good for this, but after that first attack from the Soniqs, how clinical it was and how aggressive and successful Ambi was in his push through, you maybe look at things a little bit differently now. They're sitting with a 1-round advantage, and maybe there's more that they can gain.
Oh boy.
The Ying, in goes the Amaru. Here comes a big push.
And he's straight out the window.
Soniqs as Nox trying to find his way into Tellus as well, but like you say, Ambi, I think like a rubber ball just sort of bounced in and out of that window.
He did, Jay bounced,
very
it was like, nope,
quickly.
nothing, and
He's maybe going to wish that he'd stayed inside as Fultz takes him down. Ashen manages to find Grixer, and I tell you now, I said it behind the scenes. I didn't say it on stream coming into this one. I said I won't be surprised to see overtime out of this game, and I'm calling it now. I won't be surprised to see it at all. 3 versus 3 though, as Soniqs managed to find one for Rexon and one for Surf.
They were in a 5v3 and they've now lost 2 players to bring it down to a 3v3. The kind of situation that is, I think back to the Romalia timeout that we heard earlier on in G2's game, just saying like, look, we get a kill, step back a bit, we ain't gonna go super aggressive. And they paid the price here by carrying on and trying to pursue these other players on the team. Now find themselves in an all things equal scenario. 60 seconds still to play with here. Soniqs plenty of time to play behind, and they've largely got the map control as the most important part. EE1Ds are out, but they've got 2 Candelas to play behind. And those could be really crucial bits of utility to make use of in the execute. There is still, though, a Warden on the other side.
Droning just continuing there. Not really spotting out too much, to be honest, that they wouldn't have already known. It does at least tell them where SSG are not, I guess, but they would have expected everything that they've pretty much just seen there. I think just trying to reposition. It's at least telling them there's nobody behind counter.
Did they see him there? I think they know he's on the wall still.
That's a little bit of a misdrawn there, potentially. If they go racing in through here, there's going to be the warning of the barbed wire being knocked out as well. And with 10 seconds left to go, it's time to just hop on in. But surely SSG see this and know that he's got himself inside a copy. Surf does manage to find Forest. 3 versus 2. Diffuser's going down. I think this one's a win. And the Soniqs somehow manage with 13 seconds to get it done.
Hey, real quiet, pussy boy. Let's go.
I'm already Get that motherfucking show. What's in, buddy? Wait to win that fucking round, guys.
It's all good, Amy. It's all good, Amy.
Wait to win that round.
What a fucking round. Good job.
Real quiet, pussy boy. That's such a quote.
Thank you. Good shit.
Oh. I actually want SSG to win a couple of rounds now, just to build it up a bit more.
Give me
a bit more
overtime.
beef. Give me a bit more. Oh, imagine. Surf's loving life, that's for sure.
Let's have some jeopardy. Let's really pile some jeopardy on it with a bit of overtime. That's what I'm talking about.
They're really building into this. Oh.
Honestly, the Soniqs have looked really good the last couple of rounds. They were obviously in danger of leaving it too late there. And, you know, SSG had burnt a bit of time. But let's not forget, SSG were 5 versus 3 at a point in that round. You know, it's a little bit of a sell from them. They've given away a couple of kills, 3 versus 3. The Soniqs then come in, 13 seconds left to go. You've got a man hidden around the corner. He should be able to see that copy jumping. There should be feet holes there, and he should be seeing that copy jumping. Sonic should be losing players at that point, but it just didn't happen for SSG.
Nope.
And I don't know whether, you know, maybe there's some utility that's gone in there that's prevented that. Without watching it back, it's tough to be too critical, but SSG, I'm sure they're going to be asking questions, and at 5-3 down, I think the Soniqs look good for more here. We might want overtime, but honestly, if things continue on this trend, I don't think we're going to get it.
The telling part is they've won 5 of the last 6 rounds, sure. If this was like a certain half, maybe you go, okay, yeah, fair, they've just had a really good defensive, a really good attacking half. The key thing for me is that straddled now across both attack and defense. They've won 2 attacks in a row. They won 3 of the last 4 defenses too. They're looking really good here. And yeah, sure, it's come down to a couple of close rounds along the way, but I'd say overwhelmingly, Soniqs are the ones firmly in control. And for SSG, that attack timeout for me probably should have come in that previous round to try and get things back on track. Because at 6-3, it starts to feel like a bit of a foregone conclusion, even with attack timeout, that you can balance things back over to your side.
We know that Canadian's been playing a lot of shields. He's going to be continuing that trend here on the Blitz, taking a little bit of chip damage there from the Goyo. Just feeding this information in, but there's not really anybody there that can do anything about it at the moment. I don't know whether that push is maybe just a little bit premature at this point. He's going to need a bit more support on that Blitz. They could do with getting square hatch open, maybe forcing the player away from blue stairs. There's work to be done yet, really, for the Soniqs.
What? What are we doing here, boys? I mean, I don't know if sitting on top of the car is really the place to be here. Like, if you season through the little gap, it's not a massive gap, but it's enough that you can take a shot or two.
That's great.
Meanwhile, they force their way in towards blue here. Normally so hard to break, but look at this. They're in and they're finding what they need. Even Rexon's collective one there on the glass. Imagine he lay down and found his man. Waiting for another one potentially here. This is horrid. Ugh.
Absolutely great stuff from Ambi. How often do we see teams struggling to clear those blue stairs, and he's just gone in with a wonderful pre-fire to get the job done. 5 versus 3 now in favour of the Soniqs. We've got Astronaut half-held as well. Grix are just taking pulse on Rex and manages to find him. 5 versus 4, Diffuser down. It's all up to Benja in the 1 versus 5, and things are slipping away from SSG quickly here. They look so competitive in the first half, but it's just dropped away. A beautiful find onto Ambi, but it's likely to be meaningless as the final kill comes in, and it's another round for the Soniqs, who just look unstoppable.
6 in 7.
Yo, listen, calm down, calm down. They call timeout. Can you guys hear me?
They call timeout.
Hey, listen.
This kind of garage, I one-tapped him. You guys pissed.
They call timeout.
Can't hear you, can't hear you, can't hear you.
They call timeout. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Game's not over, right? Everybody relax. One more round. Take our time, right? He's gonna call for a change of pace. You know how he is.
They're gonna bunker.
Right. Just take our time. Ambi, you're fucking dancing on it. We're playing great. Just keep playing together. This is perfect. Keep one round at a time.
I think absolutely spot on. You know, from
Ambi, yeah, I agree. Ambi's
from the side of
Soniqs,
we talk about the different types of tactical timeouts that you get, with, you know, and I think SSG is going to be much more about having some direct input on the game, and this is what I'm seeing, this is what's not happening, this is what you need to change. But for the Soniqs, it's much more a vibe of, these boys know what they're doing. They're running away with it. All I need to do is keep them hyped, just keep them confident, send them back in to finish the job. And it's a really nice contrast.
Keep the energy level high, but not so high that you're doing stupid stuff and almost turning it into
You don't want to overheat, guys. You don't want to overheat.
That's exactly it. You don't want to overheat, but at this point, they are cooking something special. Like I said, 6 in 7 rounds, and SSG just looked lost. Like, not competitive for the vast majority of this game.
Like I said, SSG looked good in the first half on the attack. The attacking rounds that they won them well. They were slow on the ones that they lost, yes, but you looked at it and thought, well, a 3-3, you know, you maybe come out on defense, you win top floor, you win basement, the usuals, you know, you go from there. But it just hasn't happened for them, in all honesty. It's because the Soniqs have taken it away from them. Ambi, as they said, he's just been running over them. You know, there's just been no safe space for SSG. Every time they move, there seems to be somebody from the Soniqs watching an angle, ready to challenge them. You know, Rexon had a great round last round as well. And, you know, for me, I look across the numbers, you know, for the Soniqs, and look how even they all are, apart from Canadian, who's obviously playing different roles, and, you know, that's another thing. But Ambi 10, Surf 8, Rexon 7, Grixer 9, everybody's chipping in, everybody's having those moments, and that's one of the big strengths. This is the Soniqs that I expected to see coming in here.
Totally. I know there were certain, you know, I asked a lot of teams before the mate. In fact, I spoke to every team bar like 2 that didn't come back to me. But the most that I spoke to said, you know, Soniqs are in their top 3 estimations. Others said BDS, FaZe were up there, of course. A couple of outside bets as well coming in. But Soniqs one of those teams that I think many want to be excited about, but you're always nervous because often when it matters most, you don't see NA teams quite stepping up to the plate the way that you really need them to if they're going to walk away as the win. Like Beast Coast came seemingly out of nowhere for their win back in Manchester. But will Soniqs start building up now? The competition's really getting underway. Maybe this game's giving them the beans they need to get moving. Ambi being sought out there by a C4 from Benja. For the first time in what feels like a while, SSG have got themselves a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, a little bit of a response after the tactical timeout, and they need it. There's no more mistakes
up here, by the way,
for them. Mozziepest is going to catch out that drone. It could well, I think it has been done specifically. I was going to say to clear the path for the Rotero drone, but they're going to have to clear another path because there was a second Mozziepest there that captured the Rotero drone. This one goes in, and it's going to be shot out. This is great work from SSG to just deny that utility away from the Soniqs.
You can't ignore the fact that I know it doesn't feel like a massive buff having like 4 of the Mozziepests out in the field, but in cases like that where you can double stack a window, knowing the kind of gameplay that's going to come through and they want to focus on getting rid of those castle barricades, that's a dream. Now, their one and only Rotero will go through. It will connect on towards that single wall that opens up in towards Square. And that is really all the work that Soniqs going to get out of this one. So, very hampered and limited so far by SSG's defense. It's looking pretty good for the side to hold on.
I like Ashen's challenge onto Surf from Lobby there as well. Again, it's just giving Soniqs lots to think about. They can't necessarily focus on the windows for the next 20 seconds until they know that Lobby's clear. And it's all these little things that are just chipping away at time. 45 seconds left to go. 4 versus 5, it's still doable for Soniqs, but it's going to take something special, is the reality. Look at the movement coming across there.
Beautiful.
Risking the run across the windows, and he gets his reward with a beautiful nitro. Rexon finds J9. 4 versus 3. 30 seconds left to go. The Soniqs need to get moving.
In a spot now where at least SSG have still got the numbers advantage. I was going to say the march is beginning from Soniqs, but before it can really get underway, Canadian's been sorted out as well. Another one going to, oh no, maybe not quite fall down. Benja finds his second in the round, and Grixer's got it all to do with 13 seconds on the clock. Something tells me, Tim, this one's going to carry on for that little bit longer. Unlikely we see a close out there, and sure enough, SSG get one more back, 6-4 to the Soniqs. It's been about 7 rounds of silence, mate. I'm glad you're back to join us.
Yeah, he's found his voice again. A great response from the tactical timeout for SSG there. You know, a better round from them. I love the little bit of a risk from Fultz there. Just the dash across the windows and then kind of a nitro over his shoulder almost as he goes past the windows and gets himself a beautiful kill. And SSG, like I said, just causing lots of little problems, lots of little delays for Soniqs there. Ashen challenging from ATMs onto the rappel and just giving them lots to think about, but I don't think Soniqs will be too worried about that. They know they've still got 2 rounds to get this done. I think the real, not worry, but the real concern maybe kind of sets in if they don't win this round. If it goes to 12 and SSG are back within 1 and have that opportunity to take it to overtime, I think that's when the Soniqs need that moment to, you know, have that reset and say, how do we get this over the line? But for now, I think you just continue what you've been doing, stick with the plan, and the Soniqs will feel pretty confident they can get this done now.
Ooh, all right. Things stay a little bit spicy. You give SSG a couple of rounds here, mate, to take us to overtime, and you know Ashen's going to explode at the end of round 12.
I just want the chaos. I just want the.
I'm glad you're with me on this.
Yeah.
Because normally you're the good boy. You like to see the positivity in things. You like to bring.
I can see the positivity for us and everyone watching in a bit of overtime between this because there's some real spice in the server for this one, and it's been absolutely pure entertainment. We've had good siege on both sides as well. Good rounds from SSG, good rounds from Sonic. You know, they're both delivering big moments, so it's a lot of fun. The drone just seeing the feet of Benja there, so they are going to be aware of his presence inside of open. Shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, to be fair. The site is tellers and archives, and so yeah, you're going to expect that there's going to be a presence out. You can't really leave open area empty because, of course, an attacker's just going to march on in there and start breaching towards site.
The Sonics, like they said about it themselves, you know they're going to change the pace on the side of SSG. They're going to try and be a little more of a nuisance, and they didn't really bring that too much. If nothing else, it was Sonics being a little bit lax, I think, on their attack that actually invited SSG to make some plays in that round and cause a little bit of chaos. I think here what Sonics need to do is move with a bit more pace, and this is sure enough pace. Immediately comes Rex on the Ash as well. Has found one already for himself after Benja picked up Surf elsewhere. Immediately into a 4 versus 4. He's got to be careful here. On the deck one goes, and the plant's going down here as well. Canadians in, and this is what I said to him. I want to see pace, and we've been given pace.
This has been great from Rex, and he's just gone in there with such a command of sight, taking kills down.
Oh dear.
But here comes the SSG fight back. Action. He manages to take Rexon out, and Canadian gets downed at the same time. That's going to see the diffuser down on the ground, so effectively now in a 2 versus 2. And with so much time on the clock, I think we'll see a little bit of a stalemate start to develop here where neither's going to want to commit too heavily until they know what's going on.
Fulton's got a C4 in back pocket here as well. Obviously, he's not going to know there's a guy above. In fact, yes, he will, based on the footsteps. Oh! Almost finds his man, but Ambi keeps himself at full HP here and now getting pushed. Will he find a second as well? Looks down below. Wrong place to look, though. It's a 1 versus 1 as Canadian is still on the deck. The long-range shot comes on through. This could be it. Sonics have just got to win this one fight. Grix has had a great game. Fultz has had some great moments himself, mind you. With 45 seconds to play. Does it end here?
Canadian could have been feeding a bit of intel. Any sounds that he had, they would have been dulled, but he might have been able to give something. But that time has now passed. He's died away. So it is 1v1. Who is going to be the one to find this shot? 30 seconds. They're almost certainly going to come together. I can't see them being able to dance around each other for the whole remainder of this round. But who will come out on top? Fultz, he's playing it smart. He's got the shotgun out. I think he's just waiting for that close range engagement. And there it is. No! He sprays around with the SMG! I thought he'd be looking for the shotgun, but no!
One more, fellas! Don't let it happen!
He's so in their heads. Oh, you hate to love him, or love to hate him. Either way, it works out pretty well. Oh, the fact that it comes down to the 1v1, and the thing is, Grix was baiting so well with the shot out the window, the turn to the left, the double back to the window. He really had the right idea.
He did.
But it was the onus was all on him as the attacker to go and seek him out. And to be fair, incredibly well played by Fultz at the end there as well. Real composure, as you'd expect for a player that's been playing for so long.
That's it. I mean, he's so much experience in situations like that. Like I said, I thought for the life in me that he was going to have had the shotgun, given that he'd narrowed the angle so much. By playing tight against the wall there, he knows he's going to get peeked from door or window, and the shotgun's going to be lethal at that range. But no, the confidence to stick with the SMG, come around the corner on the spray. Absolutely.
They definitely hear that.
Stuff.
They 100% hear that. There's just no way they don't. Oh.
One more round for Soniqs to close this out. Like I said, and I think we saw it on their faces a little bit there. This is the point where the concern sets in. We've had 2 opportunities already, and SSG have drawn this back in. And I love this game. It's been like a bit of a rubber band, really. It's been, you know, we had that good start from SSG, and the Soniqs were struggling, and then they came back into it and managed that 3-3 split, and then they came out on their attack like an absolute rocket out of the traps, and then they just haven't been able to get it done in the second half, and SSG have had the resurgence. So much back and forth, so much entertainment, and we've got at least one more round, but maybe more. Who knows? We'll see as we go. 2 minutes 30 left in this one, 30 seconds gone. We've still got the droning going on, and SSG have just got one more round to hold on.
What I will stress is it did need a 1v3 to see that round closed out.
It did.
It's the kind of round you look at and say, on paper, Sonic should have walked away the winner, in which case the game is done at 7-4. I'd say the lean is still with Soniqs here, who you'd expect to be able to recover. However, as I mentioned, once you start getting emboldened and you start screaming and shouting and it gets in the heads of the team and your team's more emboldened as well, it is a bit of mental warfare on the go. And I think Ashen right now is leading that charge for his team, still cooking himself up a double digit in kills, but who's going to be the hero for them in round 12? Because they definitely need one, given how well players on Soniqs have been playing.
This is it. You look at both sides and you think there's somebody who's going to step up. And it's Ashen. Beautiful headshot onto the repelling Grixer. Takes him down and then gets slippy. Finds himself a second down. Ashen takes making a third. It's a 3K and Ashen is going to be going crazy.
He's going to lose it after this round. You just know it's coming. He's picked up 3 players there by himself. Magic. And now Ambi and Canadian have got to pull something together. Canadian's not been a gunner this game. He's very much filled his role as RGL, I'm sure. But on the gun in front, not really been his forte. Ambi, meanwhile, as we've heard, has been twerking on him. He's been doing all kinds of magic. But can he do it against 4? I'm not so sure.
Bryce is going to take a big chunk of damage there. That's at least something for Soniqs to work on. It's going to make him a little bit more tentative about getting involved in them gunfights, but you just know who's going to be involved in the gunfights here. Canadian does take that final 17 HP that Forrest had, but it's all about Ashen. You know it, Des. I know it. Everybody at home knows it.
Just give him the ace.
It's going to come down to Ashen.
Just give him the ace. I just want to hear what happens when Ashen gets an ace. I'm convinced the world ends. We've completed it, guys. GG, game over.
Ashen's dropped away to the basement. He's going to be looking for a rotate here, I think. We just see the utility going out. They are aware of it. Canadian's just waiting for this push to come along, but right now Ashen is not there. He's not getting aggressive. He's letting his teammates do the work. J9O gets the first onto Ambi. Canadian has to push. Shut down by J9O. We're going to overtime.
That was some fucking nut hangers right there.
Let's get our attacker in then. We got this.
Now this is where we're at. This is where we got.
Hand shining overtime again. 3-6 lead. Blue again.
C4 below. I don't know if Andy still wants to take play, but they had no one holding stock, no one mine, and we can get the wall pretty quick. Set a Campbell and archives and we go for
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Going to overtime just like they did back in the NAL. I spoke about that matchup when we came into this.
They're not going to go basement again, right? They're going to go CEO or open or maybe the archive. If you notice, they've been playing for a lot of like C4s under, a lot of flanking now, right? So they see that's working, they're going to continue to try to do it. If we see all these guys off site, guys, don't be afraid to take advantage of that, right? Just make sure we're aware of the C4s under. If we don't, it's fine. Just make sure we're working together because we're getting caught off a little bit around the map, right? They're getting aggressive off info or flanks, and that's how they're getting picks. They're not doing anything special, right?
I think we looked at next point if there's one like that more.
Gotta say, Super's looking pretty fly. I'm so used to seeing him on his stream with a massive beard and his cap on, and a jersey. Suited and booted. Needs to be for his boys, and I think his calls there were about watching out from the Esports from below, which is very reasonable. Not really reflecting on what's gone wrong over those last 3 or 4 rounds to get them to this point. Yes, yes.
And shining overtime again. 3-6 lead. Blue again.
Oh man, we asked for overtime, Tim.
We got it.
And the Siege Gods have granted. Ashen, the Siege God, has granted. I can't believe I've said that line. Ashen, the Siege God, has granted it to us.
Like I said, it's the same as we saw back in the NL. It went to overtime. It was 8-6 that time around. SSG were able to get it done when they went to those extra rounds. That was Chalet. This is Bank. We've got a little technical pause just to add a little bit more drama, Des. Just as if we needed it.
I was really curious. I was like, okay, tech pause, you've got to stay quiet is the idea. Would these guys be able to follow that? I'm going to say yes. They're being good so far. However, just chilling. Cool, fine. No one's screaming. We're all good. It's just to, like you say, to build that tension that little bit more as well.
Yeah, as if we needed any more attention.
Victor on the back of the monitor. Why is it at the back of the monitor?
I don't know what the lore is to that one.
I don't know the lore. It runs deep at events, and that one I don't know. I'm not aware of that chapter, I'm afraid, of the book.
But yes, it is Victor.
Fantastic. He's got his moment in the spotlight. I mean, we get the full reset now because we're going into overtime. It is that reset of what we've seen before or what comes before. Of course, there's some continuation of it, but both teams, if you're going to bring out anything too crazy here or try something a little bit different, it's a time to do it. And where both teams have fell flat, I feel, is when rounds get taken really slow. We've seen these nut backstabs. We've seen
those have been the problem.
We've seen Yings come flying on through. It's about the aggression and about the pace, the change in play that keeps the other side guessing that has so far rewarded both teams. But it's also a high risk, high reward. Do you want to take those risks in overtime? Do you have to? I'd say yeah, because we've seen what happens when they slow things down too much. So I think we could be in for a really spicy 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah, like you say, you know, the rounds that we've really seen lost have been the rounds whereby it's been lost on time, it's been, you know, too slow, it's been not having the solutions. That has definitely been the case, so I'm going to be hoping, of course, that is not something we see in overtime. I want to see both of these teams come out and just absolutely smash this. I want to see them, you know, come out with top-tier siege, top-tier performances, and let's, you know, just have the best team win at this point. No mistakes.
Should have a look at some stats, actually, and how the game's panned out so far.
Great play. Let's have a look.
Should we have a dig? I mean, on entry, it's been pretty balanced between the two teams. So I'd say overwhelmingly the team that gets the entry does go on to win. There's only 3 rounds where that hasn't been the case. Yeah. Multi-kills have definitely stacked in the favor of Soniqs so far. Round 6, Grix with the 3K, Ami with the ace in round 7, then Surf with the 3K in round 8. Outside of that, there have been no multi-kills coming out the other side, except for Ashen in that last round with the 3K. So a bit of a balance across the board. Plants haven't really been a big focus either. SSG managed to get 2 in the first half. Soniqs getting just 1 in the latter half of the game. And Fultz, of course, has had 2 clutches so far, which has brought us to this point where you'd probably be convinced he wouldn't get there if not for him winning out those 2 big moments. Who's top of the pops? Ambi at 13 and 8, and Ashen at 14 and 10. Entry quite, I could say, pretty even between the two teams as well, so nothing really massive to shout out about. It's more about the fact that, like you said earlier, Tim, it's been very much a team game with the exception of Canadian down at 2 and 8. But for him, it's not about the kills. Of course, he's that leader for the team. We've seen games where
he's been on
he has a field day. He has a field day sometimes where he will run around and murk everyone, but most games he isn't exactly the high frag out killer. That's why you have players like Ambi alongside you. Or Rex has been having one hell of a game. Grixer can do the same. Surf's even had his moments, as mentioned, with that 3K that he secured earlier on.
Is there going to be a hero in overtime? That is the question. Is it going to be one of those where it's a team effort, where it's everybody pulling together, gets it over the line, or is it going to be Ashen in round 12 who just gets a 3K and just explodes into the round and gives their team the huge advantage that came with it? I think we're just about ready to get back into this one, Des. We've got at least 2 more rounds to go, maybe 3. I can't say that personally I would hate the thought of a round 15. You know, I don't wish too much jeopardy on any of the players. It's, I'm sure, stressful for them, but for us all watching, it's just going to be, I'm sure, wall-to-wall entertainment for the next 3 rounds, so we'll see how we go. Grab the popcorn and enjoy exactly that.
So here for that. Right, Soniqs are on the attacking side, SSG are on the defense. We're going to start things off in staff and open. Now, you spoke earlier on about the success that we were seeing more for the Soniqs than it was for SSG on those middle floor sites. It's where there was a good few battles back and forth. We had the dance around verticals. It's where the attackers often got a little bit held up, which is where there'll be a little bit of concern, I expect, for Soniqs here as well. Again, I think going fast is really the play here. Look to be disruptive. Not have one man, of course, going off entirely by himself. That isn't what I'm trying to say here, but much more about moving at pace and trying to catch the other side off guard is where they'll find their wins. Please, for the love of God, do not let Ashen, on the echo of all operators, manage to get a backstab around ATMs again.
Let's get into it then. We move into the action phase. Open area will be the first site that we're going to see coming out of SSG. We've got Canadian on the blitz again. I've got to say, it's not really had too much of an impact, the shields, in this game. We've said it throughout the day, to be honest. You know, tournament-wide, really. The teams seem to be doing better at dealing with them. But look at this, straight on into sight. The rush is coming, and they try to react to it, but too slowly. Rexon manages to get a kill onto Forest. However, SSG starts standing up. This is a bloodbath. It's a brawl. It's going out of the way, but the Nitro finds the planter, takes down the shield. 2v2.
That's not bad. I mean, we've been here before. It was Fultz left in this situation previously, if you recall. Managed to win out the 1 versus 3, but here there's 2 to hold on. I can't believe there's still a phone call left. In fact, that's the first phone call coming online, Tim. The second one's still charging up here. You have to wait another 35 seconds for that one to be available. Lots of utility to play behind, but this turns into a really weird kind of duel between the two teams now. It's not about team play now. It's about how these two players on either side can face up against their opponents on the other. Straight up gunfights, and ideally trying to isolate out 2 versus 1 in some way, shape or form.
Having the Echo left on side here isn't the end of the world if those drones can be maneuvered into useful locations, but the question is, will he get an opportunity? He doesn't want to be leaving Benja all alone in a 1v2 by sitting on those drones. Benja could potentially drop the hatch here. We can see Soniqs have just got themselves inside a copy. They've made the decision that it's time to move, get themselves out, potentially try and get a plant down. I spoke about those Echo drones. It will come in, it will prevent the plant for the time being. Can it continue to do so?
Away.
The other is up on the top floor. As you say, it's going to be tough. Just tries to open it up. It does once again force Soniqs to just come off that plant.
They must have heard that drop. C4 into the soft wall, should find his man. Yes, it did. In fact, no, it's Ashen who collects it off the back of it. Rexon might try his very best here, but I don't think he's going to win it.
Hey! Good retake! Good retake! Let's go! Hey! Give me some. Well played. Well played, as Doki says. Well played.
You guys were very well right there.
I think that's
He's got like camo pants on. Really looks the part, going nuts after a round. Oh.
I love the contrast in the team. You've got Ashen absolutely screaming. You've got Benja just sat there quietly waiting for the next round.
That sounds like Benja. That sounds like Benja.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. So SSG are going to take the first round of overtime. Des, there's a real opportunity here whereby we get the exact same scoreline that it was in the NAL. SSG 186, you know, back on the 13th of September. There's the potential that they're going to be doing the same again here. They're going on to the attack. You know, this is a side that they did pretty well on overall, but we're going to have Soniqs this time going to Tellers and Archives. They did well on those mid-floor sides. They burnt a lot of time from SSG up on the top floor. The question is, do SSG have a plan? Do they have an answer to that?
Someone said it in chat. I didn't want to say it at the time because it felt mean. I was going to be like, I didn't realize he stood up there. He's the same height when he stood up, bless his heart and soul. For me, though, I got what I asked for, which was a fast attack, right? Like, change up the pace there, leave them kind of confused, and it almost worked. If not for the C4 being able to walk so cleanly through sites itself and get it on towards Canadian and get the down, if it'd been enough to leave them on 1 or 2 HP, then different conversation we're having right now. Diffuser gets stuck, and attackers can just sit back and play the longer angles. That would have been real hard for SSG to retake it. Very timely C4, though, means they get the round over the line. One more, and they're back over it. It's the back-and-forth nature of so many games today has been bonkers when I think about it, Tim. And this is another classic example. SSG start strong, then they lose like 6 or 7 rounds to Soniqs, and then they fight their way back in. Now we're here at overtime where they're about to win the game. It's the beautiful part of Siege that we love. You don't always want these one-sided affairs. They're often quite boring to watch when it's like this, when you don't know what's coming next. That's peak Siege, ladies and gents.
That's it. You just want that back and forth. You just want that sort of parry and riposte that we've been having from these two throughout. IQ just going to collect the diffuser there before heading on down. But SSG, as I said, the real key here is how well can you deal with this top floor hold? How quickly, if at all, can you clear it out before you start looking down towards site? Benja going to rappel on in, look to put a little bit of pressure on towards Janitor. Needs to be careful. There you go. Beautiful timing, beautiful teamwork there for the Blitz to go in and clear that out. Forest manages to get the kill onto Surf. I commented that the shields hadn't been the most impactful that we've seen them in this game, but they certainly have there. Benja, Ashen, they find one each. It's 5 versus 2, and SSG look like they're on the downhill, Des.
Oh, man. Soniqs are just 2 left standing, and I'm sure at this point, exasperation is the only word you can describe how the team and Super no doubt fear as well. Stuck behind them as the coaches watch them claw back so many rounds, 6 out of 7, like I said, to get up to a 6-3 advantage. And now they've choked 4 rounds in a row, and SSG have been emboldened, not just by the success they were having, but of course by the noise coming out of so many of their players. Really got to work some magic here. Ambi and Rex, and if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be these 2 players. But I don't think SSG are really in a spot to say, yeah, sure, we'll give you guys a little bit of breathing room here. Absolutely not. We've got a blitz. In they come, they see 1, they see 2. They know exactly where the last 2 players are. And this is all they really need the blitz to do. 1 goes down. Last one's in elevators.
Keep screaming, Troy!
Shit!